Good morning, everyone, especially to our esteemed instructor, Mr. Elohio Dublin. Okay, so this morning, I, together with my partner, Miss Mercy Tindag, will be discussing to you the story entitled The Day the Dancers Came, written by the Filipino-American writer Bienvenido in Santos. So in my part, I will be discussing about first, of course, the biography of the author. Then I will also give you an overview of the story and, of course, the summary of the story. And lastly, is the themes that I analyzed from the story. Okay, so without any more delay, I will now start my discussion. So, shown on the screen is the writer Bienvenido in Santos. So, he was born on March 22, 1911 at Tondo, Manila, Philippine Island. And after 84 years, at the age of 84, he died on January 7, 1996 at Legazpi City, Albay, Philippines. He was a Filipino fiction, non-fiction writer and also a poet. And his genre, of course, it was fiction and poetry. Now, Benvenido Santos won several notable awards. No? He won Carlos Palanca Memorial Award on the years 1956, 1961, and 1965. He also won Republic Cultural Heritage Award in Literature and also American Book Award on the year 1980, and of course the Dogekin Foundation Fellowship Award. So he was a very prominent writer. Now, let's talk about the overview of this story. This story was set in Chicago during the 1950s. The main characters of this story are Philemon, or also called as Phil, Akayan, and also Antonio Battler, or also called as Tony. Now, they are two Filipino citizens who lived in Chicago. Now, the story is told from the third person point of view, focusing mainly on Phil, on Philemon Akayan. And the tone of the story is nostalgic. It reflects Phil's longing for his homeland since they are in Chicago. So it reflects Phil's longing for his homeland and his attempts to connect with it through the dancers. Now, the mood of the story is bittersweet as Phil's excitement about the dancers' visit turns into disappointment when they reject his invitation and his recordings of their performance are lost. Yeah. So now, to better understand the story, let's talk about its summary. Okay, so this story started with the two Filipino citizens, Philemon or Phil, and Tony or Antonio Bataller. Now, they lived in Chicago in early November when the snow is still falling. Now, Phil was enthusiastic because the young and elegant dancers from the Philippines are going to perform in Chicago that day, thinking that they will love their first snow. Now, Tony, on the other hand, was not that excited, maybe because for him, it was a sign of his dreaded cancer. Phil was so eager with the coming of the dancers that he even blushed with the thought of it. He planned to invite the dancers in their apartment they're living for the last 10 years. He's going to cook them some delicious chicken adobo with the well-stuffed relleno and offer them with his warmest hospitality. Now he went to the airport to meet them. No, Phil went to the airport to meet the dancers, the Filipino dancers. However, as the dancers came, they were perhaps too young and too elegant to accept an invitation from the old stoker, like Phil. So Phil was dumbfounded and rejected. But nevertheless, Phil still pursued his love and admiration for the young dancers. He recorded the dance troup's performance in his old portable tape recorder in hopes of inspiring Tony. Now, Tony at that time wasn't able to accompany Phil in watching the Filipino dancers' performance because Tony went to his doctor to have his condition checked. Now, after the performance, Phil went home to take a nap. Now, by the time he woke up, Tony was already there, um, also sleeping. Now, he played what he has recorded when suddenly Tony screamed. Now, Phil went immediately to Tony's room and asked what happened with his consultation. Now, but as Phil went back to his room, he ended up in despair because he lost his memories of the dancers as he mistakenly erased all the recordings. He tried to rewind back the sounds, but there was nothing left but meaningless sounds. Yeah, so that's it. That's the summary of this story, The Day the Dancers Came. It was all about the coming of the dancers in Chicago and also the two Filipino citizens who are longing for the connection of their homeland. So yeah. Now this time, I will present to you the five themes that I analyzed from the story. The first one is cultural identity. So this story it delves into the theme of cultural identity, particularly in the longing of connection to one's roots. No, based from the story, Phil and Tony, who were living in Chicago, eagerly anticipate the arrival of the Filipino dancers from their home country. Now, they hope to experience a sense of familiarity and nostalgia by inviting the dancers into their apartment and sharing some Filipino cuisines. Now, this theme highlights the importance of cultural heritage and the desire to maintain a connection to one's roots even when living in a foreign land. Yeah, so cultural identity is very evident in the story. Now, next theme is aging and mortality. Now, this theme of aging and mortality is portrayed through Tony's illness and Phil's eagerness to make the most of their time together. Tony's reluctance to join Phil in welcoming the dancers, it stems from his fear of his own mortality, which was symbolized by the dreadful cancer. Now, Phil's enthusiasm emphasizes the feeling nature, or the fleeting nature rather, of life, and also the desire to seize every opportunity before it's too late. Okay, so the third theme present in the story is loneliness and rejection. Now, Phil's infatuation with the young dancers, with the young Filipino dancers, highlights the theme of loneliness and rejection. Despite his genuine intention to the dancers, Phil is rejected due to his age and was perceived as a stalker. No, he was perceived as having a stalker like behavior. Now, this rejection amplifies Phil's sense of loneliness as he yearns for companionship and connection. This theme explores the complexities of human relationships and also the emotions that come when one feels isolated and unwanted. Yeah. So fourth theme we have is of course memory and loss. So this theme, memory and loss, is depicted through the accidental erasure of the recorded dance performance. Phil's attempt to capture the beauty and inspiration of the young dancers for Tony's sake results in the loss of those memories. This theme explores the fragility of the memory and, of course, the profound impact of losing those cherished moments and experiences. It also highlights the importance of preserving memories and also the pain that comes with their disappearance. Now, last theme of this story is, of course, the friendship and support. Phil's relationship with Tony showcases the importance of friendship and support in times of hardship. Despite their differences in enthusiasm for the dancers' arrival, Phil's attempt to share the experience with Tony demonstrates his loyalty and compassion to his friend. This theme emphasizes the power of camaraderie in navigating life's challenges and also in finding solace amidst adversity. So yeah, that was the five themes I analyzed and gathered from the story. Again, This story, The Day the Dancers Came by Bienvenido Santos, talks about cultural identity. It talks about the theme of aging and mortality, loneliness and rejection, memory and loss, and of course, friendship and support. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all about my report, everyone. Thank you so much for lending your ears and your precious time. I hope you have gathered insights from my discussion. Thank you.